Hey YouTubers, welcome back to AZ to Ozarks. This is a long-awaited day. We ordered Rick's pole barn shop building quite some time ago. Actually, it's been a little over 10 weeks ago. And it is finally being delivered today. The price of lumber has about tripled since we first were looking at pole barn kits. And as a result, we ended up canceling the concrete. So this ideally would all be concrete right now, but we're going to have to do this in baby steps. So the price of lumber went way up and we ended up still ordering a pole barn kit. However, the lumber was more expensive. So in phases, we'll do the concrete, and we'll probably do it ourselves rather than having a contractor come out and do it, which is kind of a bummer, but that's okay. It's going to be so nice to have a shop for Rick to actually work in and store his tools. We've had 2 storage units in town, and it would be really nice to stop paying for storage units and bring everything to the house. And really, whenever we're doing a job, we're looking all over for tools and supplies, and we say, oh, that might be in the storage units. So then we have to take an hour detour to go into town, get the tools, and come back. The truck delivering this is a big rig, and yesterday it rained. We have a 1/4 mile long driveway, and part of it is pretty steep and it comes around a bend. We're concerned about him being able to get this big rig with a long trailer up the driveway. It's a little bit muddy, but we did all that improving to the driveway with a lot of gravel, so it's not horrible, but we don't know what the capabilities are going to be. So once he arrives this morning, we are going to drive down in the pickup truck, pick him up, bring him back up, and let him evaluate if he'll be able to get turned around up here, if he thinks he can make it up the hill, that kind of thing. He is arriving an hour earlier than expected, so we're kind of having to get moving right away, and we'll see how this goes. If he can't get up here, we're going to have to unload him at the road. And the trusses for this are 40 feet wide. So it's a 40 by 80 pole barn. And our trailer is only 20 feet. So Rick's thinking if he can't get up here, we're going to have to unload things in phases onto our 20-foot trailer and somehow drag them up here. It could get interesting, but stick around and find out what happens. This is way better being delivered by a pickup truck, and he's obviously 4-wheel drive, 6-wheel drive with his dualies, but not a problem at all. He came right up that driveway and he's pulling over to the pad where they're going to unload next. I think I'll probably switch to a time lapse for the unloading process. But this is way better than we had anticipated. I totally viewed us unloading it down at the road and then having to carry it up with the tractor and the trailer. This is the biggest bundle. It is the roof trusses. They're 40 feet long. And so Rick just lifted them with the tractor, and dude's driving his trailer out from under it, which is super cool. So now Rick can lower it a little bit and then bring it over to stack it. So he has a back box blade on the tractor right now for counterweight, because some of this lumber is actually overweighted for our tractor because it would cause it to tip over, and we don't want our tractor to tip over with the wood and everything. So he has the box blade on the back as the counterweight, and hopefully it'll be able to handle this. This is definitely the biggest one, the heaviest one, and you can see how they're bending and bowing. That is just crazy. I hope it doesn't break. Some of you who are familiar with lumber are probably laughing right now and saying that's no big deal, but wow. pretty impressive. And we just set down some boards over here, 3 across, to set it on. That is the full width of Rick's future shop. It's coming down. Perfect. If we were able to get that one, the rest should be a breeze. Wow, the materials are all unloaded and that went seamlessly. It was so smooth, so easy, and all of the materials are now here. It's kind of bad timing because this was supposed to be 2 to 3 weeks and it turned out to be just over 10 weeks from the time we ordered. So now is not really a good time for us to be working on and building this pole barn. So I don't know if there's going to be a delay or if we're going to be able to get right on it, but I can tell you Rick is super, super, super excited to have a shop finally. It's hard to go from back in Arizona. We had a shop on our property, not this big, but we had a shop, they call it a garage. It was, I don't know, a 2 RV plus 2 car garage at our house. And then he had his shop in town where he worked. But we consolidated all of his tools and equipment from those 2 locations, and that's all going to be here. And it'll just be so exciting having it here at the property. And also he hasn't had anywhere to work on things. He's been working on tools and stuff at the kitchen table. So having a place to set up and have workbenches, this is really a neat thing for us. So I don't know how long before we start building it. I'll certainly post videos of it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give us a thumbs up and subscribe so you can watch it being built.